The Winchester Mystery House is one of the most sought-after locations for paranormal investigations. Stairways that lead to nowhere, windows that do not reveal the outside world, and corridors that will make you feel like you're trapped within a maze. Today, we will learn the history of the infamous Winchester Mystery House. What started out in the 1800s as a modest 8-room farmhouse in California's Santa Clara Valley has become one of the most recognizable and notoriously mysterious mansions and haunted house attractions in America. The Winchester Mystery House, as it's known today. The enormous and confusing estate belonged to the rifle company heiress Sarah Pardee Winchester. As the widow of William Winchester, who was the owner of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, Sarah came into $20 million in inheritance, along with 50% ownership of the firearms business when William died in 1881. That fortune enabled her to transform the humble ranch into a massive mansion on hundreds of acres of land, but it also fueled rumours that Sarah built the home to escape the spirits of those killed by the Winchester rifle. Following the death of multiple family members, including her infant daughter in 1865, her father in 1869, and her mother in 1880, both her father-in-law and husband in 1881, and her sister in 1884. Sarah left her hometown in New Haven, Connecticut, to make a fresh start just outside of San Jose, California. Within just a few months, she'd already added more than a dozen rooms onto her new home, with the intention of accommodating her 2 little sisters and their families. For the next 38 years, the property would be constantly under construction, 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Sarah designed all the additions on her own, even though she had no experience of training in the architectural field. Construction ended only upon her death in 1922, leaving it incomplete and her plans unfinished. So what does the house look like today? Well, let me rattle off a few of the details. What stands today is a 4-storey high, 160-room and 24,000 square foot mansion, constructed mostly out of redwood on less than 5 remaining acres of land and one of the city's most heavily trafficked neighbourhoods. The home has 2,000 doors, some leading into walls, 10,000 windows, 47 fireplaces, 17 chimneys, 40 stairways, where one of these leads directly into the ceiling. There's 40 bedrooms, there's 2 ballrooms, of which one is still incomplete, 13 bathrooms, 6 kitchens, 3 elevators, 2 basements, and a wood-panelled Venetian-inspired dining room. Few people aside from the household staff and teams of carpenters and other workmen were invited into the mansion during Sarah's lifetime, and very few, if any, interior photographs were ever taken. So with all that being said, the question is the Winchester Mystery House haunted? It's a question people have asked ever since Sarah started construction, in order to make sense of this monstrosity of a building in what was once a rural community. Rumours began to swirl about her motivations. According to folklore, Sarah was motivated to build a home with such odd features because a medium told her that ghosts of those killed by the Winchester rifle would haunt her until the day she died, unless she went out her way to build a house with rooms for all of them. Other versions of the story report that Sarah was driven west because she was being haunted in the family mansion in New Haven. Unfortunately for her, the ghosts followed her to California, so she tried to outsmart them by building a maze of a home with a tangle of hallways. Historians have never been able to corroborate the visit with the medium, and many of Sarah's long-time employees and friends denied the story, both during and after her lifetime. And of course, the truth is likely a bit simpler. Sarah's father had been a carpenter during the height of the Victorian period, and so she grew up loving design and architecture. She later subscribed to many magazines and journals on the subject and taught herself the craft. The rumours only grew after her death, when the property sold at auction to a private investor for around $130,000. Today, that's a little more than $2 million. It was then leased to John and Mame Brown for a 10-year period. The couple opened the house to the public in 1923 and eventually bought the property, which is now owned by a privately held company and represents their descendants. The home was designated a historic landmark in 1974, and it's listed in the National Registry of Historic Places. Would you visit the Winchester Mystery House and spend a night roaming the tangled halls? If you enjoy paranormal investigations, ghost stories, and macabre history of haunted locations, then please give us a like and subscribe. It helps the channel and lets us know what content to focus on. Until next time.
Hey, I'm Oren, the youngest member of the Beans and Ghost crew. I think you should like and subscribe. It would help us a lot. Wouldn't it, Mr. Ghosty?